Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. All right, today's episode is going to be a response to a question I got on an email from a viewer. She wanted to know, how did I ultimately decide to go ahead and start doing medical coding? What made me decide to go ahead and just do it? I will be leaving the link to the video down in the description box below about how I got started with medical coding, so that way you guys can have the backstory on it. But uh, to answer the question, how did I go ahead and decide to start with medical coding? It was a leap of faith because I literally did not know anything about the field. I didn't know anything about medical coding. All I knew was what people around me were telling me. And I was basically listening to my instinct too and feeling like, okay, this could be something that would be right for me because I love to read and I like to study. I like to do things like that. So it was just like, okay, this is like right up my alley, and I didn't put a whole lot of thought into overthinking, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't want to sit there and overthink all the things that could go wrong. I am fairly confident when it comes to my ability to pick up things very, very easily because I love to study. But the thing about it was, like, as the program went on and I started to learn how to, like, do evaluation and management and procedure coding, of course you're going to sit there and second guess yourself because that's when the stuff starts getting hard. It's one thing when you're learning medical terminology, it's another when you're having to actually apply all of the guidelines and stuff into, getting evaluation and management levels and getting procedure codes and things like that. So there was that. Like I said, I didn't overthink it. A lot of my journey in the beginning was literally faith, and just deciding to just go ahead and just go with the flow. Because when you go with the flow, and like if you're like me, where you look like 5 steps ahead, like to see what the possible outcomes could be, I saw every time I looked ahead, in my own analytics, in my own way of thinking, and I thought, okay, well, this isn't anything bad. You know what I mean? Like, if I stay on this path, it's not going to be bad. This is not a dangerous job. It is, all intellectual. So it was always positives that I was thinking about when I got into this field. So it has worked out for me. The level of passion that I have, it just goes higher and higher for the field only because I've really dedicated a lot of time to learning it. And that's the difference right there. If you stayed like how I stayed in the beginning, where it was just like, oh, okay, it's a job, and I just go to my job 9 to 5, and that's it, and I'm done for the day. If I was to stay like that, it would still continue to be a job. I certainly would not be here on YouTube with all of you guys because I wouldn't care. I actually do care. I do care about what I put out. I try to make it high content, like high value content, because I want you guys to know that there is a resource out there. Sometimes when you're researching things for medical coding, depending on what you're looking for, sometimes it's almost impossible to find an answer. There's just some things you just can't find an answer to. And so it takes a lot of detective work to find out some of these answers sometimes. And I wanted to be a place where people could go to ask a question, and to pose that question and see if I can help and things like that. I wanted to be that voice and that, that resource. I like I said, I just spent a lot of time researching and looking up things on my own, myself. I happen to love my clinics, so I really do concentrate a lot on those in orthopedics and podiatry, rheumatology, neurology, and pulmonology. These are very very detailed clinics, and you have to really know and understand the body. Not to say that there are not others that are like that as well. every clinic is. You just have to be really dedicated to learning. And so, like I said, that was just my journey on that one. And if you spend a lot of time second guessing and thinking, well, I should or I shouldn't do this, or maybe you start listening to like negative people that say, well, you can't do this. Of course, that's where your mind is going to go. But you have to really decide for yourself. Do you want to make a change? Do you want to start something new? Do you want to dedicate and devote your time to something else? And if you say, well, I have kids, or I have a family, I can't really do this. But it is about doing it for yourself, but it is also about being a good role model and a good example for your family and for your kids. Because your kids will remember this. Your kids will remember you studying, and your kids will remember you when you graduate, and when you're up there on stage, and when you get your diploma or whatever, if you go to like a trade school or something, if they do something like that for you, or if you're going to college for it. There are a lot of things that family members do remember and kids remember, and it is a wonderful example that you can be setting for the next generation in your family. So don't let that stop you, as far as like, well, I can't do it because I want to spend time with my kids. But your kids are going to see you want to strive and do more, and that's a good thing. So don't feel guilty about wanting to do something for yourself, as far as like a career and things like that. Again, it's all going to be faith. If you decide something, just go with it. If you don't know what decision to make, go with it. That's all I can say, because that's what I did. That was like 90% of my journey was all faith. So, that's pretty much where it is. There's never going to be a for certain you should do this, or a for certain you should do that. Isn't everything that we do about a little bit about faith? Because we don't know what the result is going to be ever. Even when you drive to work in the morning, you know what I mean? Do you know what the result of your day is going to be? No. You have to take a leap of faith and just go. You know what I mean? And so that's pretty much where you are if you're trying to decide, and all you can do is just get off the fence and do it. A lot of people say, don't wait. And it's true. If you want to do something, it's all on you. The only person stopping you is you, literally. Because I've seen there was women that were in my school that their husbands or their boyfriends or their family members would tell them, you can't do this, you can't. And there will always be those negative people, but it is really up to you to say yay or nay if you want to listen to that or not. And I always say, don't listen to the negative people, because there's going to be negative people anywhere in anything that you do. It like I said, it's literally all on you. Whatever you decide, whatever is going to make you happy, but you never know unless you actually do it. And if you're worried about your age being a factor, oh, I'm too old, or I'm too young to do this, and things like that. There was a lady in her 60s that I knew that started in medical coding, and she's still in it, and she's in her 70s now. Sharpest woman, sharp. She ran circles around young people. Okay, I got into this when I was in my late 20s, and that woman was running circles around people that were younger than me. Now, if I would have known from the time that I was in high school about this, I would have done this way back then. I sure would have. Yes, I would. I totally would have. I totally would have done this way back then, without a doubt. I have a viewer that he took his credential exam as a high school senior, and he got his credential, and then he graduated high school, and he graduated high school, and he took his certification exam, got his certification, Then a couple months later, he took another certification exam, got it, and now he has a job as a medical coder. So it's literally having a goal, wanting to do something, and just going for it, and not letting anything stop you. And that young man certainly did not let anything stop him. He is doing great, and I am completely and utterly impressed and proud of him. So, it's all going to depend on what you want to do. And a lot of times, and I'm guilty of it myself, where I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then sometimes, like, I let other stuff get in the way. But to me, there's always a reason why something didn't start right away for me when I'm looking back at myself, retrospectively. There's always a reason that something didn't get started, or I didn't do something for whatever reason. And there's always going to be a good time in some instances for some things, but other things you're just going to have to take as a leap of faith. And of course, career things is one of them. But whenever you're deciding to do something, go for it. Don't just go in halfway and maybe a little bit. You really got to go in and do it. If you're going to start studying to be a medical coder, start studying. If you want to start the new year off with a new career or whatever, and you've been thinking about it, do it, or think about something else. Okay? Obviously, if the passion is driving you, it will be there to sustain you through the entire time you're in school, through the entire time when you take your certification exam, and then when you are out looking out for a job. Okay? So there's a lot of things that it's all going to be about your mental fortitude and how willing you are. And then if there's going to be things that come at you, you have to just roll with it. That's part of the shaping process. The uncomfortableness of, oh gosh, now I have to study. Now I have to do this, or I have to stay up late, or I gotta put my kids to bed and then I gotta go and study, and I gotta do this. It is about making that time for it. So that's something to think about. It's gonna be whatever you want to do. Okay, but there is no, I hate to disappoint you guys, but there is no solid answer as to, yes, I knew for sure that I wanted to do this in the beginning. I don't have that answer because I just went on faith. That is my answer. And I had a couple of driving factors to that too. I wanted to get back on my feet. I wanted to have something solid for myself. I had been married, and at the time I was going through a divorce. And so going through all that and just, having my whole life change, that was what was motivating me as well. I had that motivation, that I wanted to do something different with my life, and knowing that this would be a sustainable field for me, that I would have a job and that I wouldn't have to worry about getting laid off or something. That was part of it too. So, but yeah, that's my answer to that one. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, I hate to disappoint. Like I said, it's not a big bright shiny answer, but it is the truth. And I'm all about being real and being truthful when it comes to medical coding, because like I said, I've never ever wanted to sell this. Okay, it's not a field to sell. I think that you either want to do it or you don't. So, but yes, that's my answer. So I will be back tomorrow for another episode, another exciting episode of Medical Coding with Blue. So if you like this video, if you find my videos helpful, please like and subscribe and hit that thumbs up button, because it helps me with my ratings, and I would really appreciate it. Okay, so if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider, or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding with Blue. All right, I will see y'all on the next episode. Bye!